Welcome back to Discover Crypto. After recording a video on Akash the other day, I think it's time that we return to the Cosmos ecosystem, and I showed you how to use the Kepler wallet, which is one of the most popular and easily accessible crypto wallets to use in the Cosmos ecosystem. It's compatible with Akash, AKT, and a bunch of other useful cryptocurrencies. So before diving into this video, I just want to assure you that this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and that you are advised to do your own research. I'm merely showing you what I do and what I've learned in the hope that, it can stimulate you to do further research. So I'm going to get into the video now. Okay, with Kepler, it is a way of managing assets in the Cosmos ecosystem. And in terms of Cosmos and the Atom token, this is a layer 0 that lets layer 1s such as the Luno connect, and in the future they're going to try and get Ethereum on board. So there's a lot of ambition here with the project. It's all about connectivity, and it's why it's referred to as the Internet of Blockchains. Compared to something like Ethereum, you get faster transactions, lower fees. So whenever you want to get into DeFi, this is a lot more useful for the everyday crypto investor who doesn't want to spend $90 plus on a transaction. This isn't actually a Cosmos video specifically, so I'm now going to get into the Kepler wallet. So if you go to Keplr.app, and I'll provide a link for this in the description, you can click on a button to install the Kepler plugin on Chrome, and that will be a little K up here, as you can see. And once you've installed it, you won't see any financial details if you install it for the first time because you haven't loaded your wallet yet. You can go to the little person icon here, click on Add Account, and it will bring you to a page that lets you create a Kepler account. I did not decide to create one through Google because honestly, why would you? You can import a ledger if you want to be highly secure, and there I'm going to link you to an excellent app by a Cosmos contributor called cat.fish. I will put that in the description. Cat.fish has produced an incredible guide with all sorts of information on the many different ways of setting up a Kepler wallet, including a hardware ledger. However, I don't have massive amounts of resources in the Cosmos ecosystem. It's a portion of my portfolio, but it's significant enough, so I have created the plugin instead. So whenever you go to create an account, you'll have the option of having 12 words or 24 words as your mnemonic seed. Basically, the mnemonic seed is required for if you want to import a Kepler account without having, let's say for example, these 24 words. Nobody can access the account, and this is precisely why you do not provide anyone with your mnemonic seed if they ask for it. The only time you use it is if you are on a legitimate Kepler wallet extension or using your ledger. If you ever have any doubts about the truthfulness of the apps that you use in relation to the Cosmos ecosystem, I suggest going to cosmos.network, and you have the option to explore the different wallets that are available, learn more about them, most importantly obtain links to the authentic apps and wallets, because you shouldn't just take anyone's word for it. By going to somewhere like cosmos.network or looking on CoinGecko or coinmarketcap.com, you can assure yourself that these links are as legit as you're going to find. So whenever you're creating your wallet, you take a note of your mnemonic seed. Best case is to maybe type it and print it off and keep it somewhere safe. Delete the original document. You don't want to leave this in a position where it could be potentially stolen. After choosing an account name, you can then go on, create your account, and you'll be able to use it within the Kepler dashboard. In the dashboard here, this is similar to how it was whenever I first created one back in the spring. So it's sort of telling you there's a focus here on Cosmos, Atom, KAVA, Secret, and it's prioritizing these and showing these on the dashboard. So it's it's not necessarily going to be suitable for everyone in that regard. But if you notice on the left of the screen here, it lets you see all of the available supported chains, and the list is growing month by month. So some of the early adopters like Cosmos and Secret Network was early. And then here is a cache, after we were looking at a cache the other day. So by creating a Kepler wallet, you will have deposit addresses, as you can see here, for a cache for all of these different chains if you should need them. For example, I don't actually have regen, but if I were to need one ever, there's an address there. It's not showing you all of it, but you can get that by copying and pasting. And if I'm going to go, so whenever you're using the Kepler wallet, you will need funds. It will come unfunded, and as is the case with most people, you need to start on a centralized exchange by depositing dollars, pounds, euro, whatever your currency is. Earlier on today, I cashed in some coins and got USDT, and I bought a couple of Atom to add up on my staking. So I wouldn't necessarily use a Sendex for everything I do. This is merely my example, because the coin I was selling, I couldn't sell it anywhere else. So I got my USDT Tether, I exchanged it for Atom. Here I've got my Atom. So if I were to go to my Kepler wallet, here you can actually just go to the plugin. Go to Cosmos, copy and paste your address, and then you will be able to go to a Sendex, copy and paste the address. Now, whenever you're looking at your account, you do want to check and make sure that there isn't a memo here, then there's no memo. So you would be able to complete this withdrawal without a memo, and you would do so by clicking this box. But of course, this is all dependent on the centralized exchange that you use. Where memos can come into play is whenever you're loading funds from the Cosmos ecosystem into a centralized exchange, and the centralized exchange uses the memo to differentiate. So it's not always needed. It's obviously situation dependent, but for the most part, I've found there isn't a memo required withdrawing to your wallet, but there can be if you're depositing from your wallet to a centralized exchange. So let's say, going back to the Atom, let's say you get yourself a couple of Atom. You've taken your address from the Kepler wallet, you input it here, you don't need a memo, you choose to withdraw all. It tells you that there's a fee to pay, and then you'll confirm that when you're ready to confirm it. Obviously your security requirements will differ depending on mine. For example, there could be an exchange where you need to input two-factor authentication to confirm your withdrawal. You might be using the Google Authenticator app, which is what I use, to generate unique 6-digit codes to confirm your withdrawal. You can request codes sent your email, but security is important in crypto, and I do use it, so you'll need to go through whichever security requirements you have on your chain. Now, I think Atom is probably the best way for most of you, for the average crypto user, to get started, because Atom is available on Coinbase, it's available on Binance, Crypto.com, Sendex, KuCoin. I mean, it's hard to actually find a centralized exchange that doesn't have Atom. So you can take your Atom off, you can put it in your Kepler wallet, you'll be able to see it here. Now, through the Kepler wallet, through this browser extension, you're not in a position to be exchanging funds directly through Kepler. I would recommend, actually, you know what, you can start with Gravity DEX protocol. So has produced Emeris. So you can go to Emeris.com, choose to launch the app. Connect your wallet. and it will tell you your assets. It will show you them. There's a swap function here. You can go to the liquidity pools. However, I think for most of us, we do find Cosmonauts, I have to say, my first destination would most likely be Osmosis. So app.osmosis.zone. So in crypto, you can find a lot of helpful links and information by going to the coins on CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko. And this will allow you to find your way to the necessary places. So for here on the Osmosis coin, there is actually a link to the exchange to help you get there. So on Osmosis, you can go up to the trade option, and whenever you have Atom, if you want to load it on, you can come down to assets right here, come to deposit. So I'm just going to put on 1.1 Atom as a demonstration. And as you can see, 18 cents to load on your Atom is a lot cheaper than what you would be doing right now in the Ethereum ecosystem. So it's telling me that the transaction is successful. Now, one thing I would say about using Osmosis Hub is that sometimes if the balance doesn't immediately change, what you can do is just go into your browser and refresh that. Okay, it's not here yet. Okay, there we go. It's telling me it's deposited. It's showing now, but in the past I have found that when making adjustments, sometimes refreshing can make the difference. So Osmosis here, there are, if you go to trade, I need to make this point out now, so Terra, which is the Luno ecosystem, if you want to use those tokens, you can click on this banner, approve the inclusion, and instead of appearing in the plugin or the dashboard that I was showing you for Kepler, they are currently showing under beta support. So down here you can go to Terra, and with Terra, you can actually store, store Luna here, you can store UST. So UST is an algorithmic stablecoin closely pegged to the US dollar. So let's say you get your Atom here, you could come down and decide you wanted to get some UST and just leave it waiting until you're ready to change. Or you could pick something like a cash, and you could see how much your Atom gets you there. So today, 1.1 Atom, you could get 15.89 a cash. With Osmosis, I find it's a very, very good way for everyday users to get involved with providing liquidity, because whenever you're providing liquidity on some other chains such as Ethereum, there can be high gas fees, and the high gas fees can be very prohibitive to really doing anything. I mean, today as an example, there's 118 Gwei for using Ethereum, and I was looking at a transaction last week just for entertainment purposes to transfer $100 that I had in USD stablecoins, and it was going to cost $97 for the fees. Other people were reporting the same. So by being involved in Osmosis and the Cosmos ecosystem, you can start providing your assets. So currently there's numerous incentivized pools here for the assets that are available on Osmosis, and there's actually external incentive pools. So an epoch is a day, so for 163 more days you can provide Atom and Juno. I have a little bit of Atom and Juno, so I'm not going to complete a transaction, but I will show you. So you could go into the pool, go to add remove liquidity, you can pop in here maybe 0.5 Atom. I've got a little bit of Juno. You could choose to add your liquidity, click add, and then you would approve that, but I don't want to do that, so I'm rejecting it. And once you've approved it, it will show you here on the right of the screen that you've got available liquidity provider tokens, and then when you have that amount, you can go click on start earning, approve the transaction. Currently with Osmosis, there is an initiative in place where to complete a low transaction, it's 0. However, sometimes with providing liquidity, you might need to accept high or go to set gas and adjust it if you get a warning or rejection notice and tells you to adjust it. Whenever you're getting involved, Cosmos ecosystem and Osmosis and Kepler, I find them intuitive and straightforward to use, but there is a learning curve. I think it's an easier learning curve than other systems, but you will need to look for guides from people such as cat.fish to help you get involved, and it can help you get in. Wanted to show you something else. So I'm currently providing Juno and Osmosis, and this is where I recommend the stats button here. So whenever you're going to provide liquidity, I highly recommend you take a note of how many of each token you're providing and the price of each at the time, because whenever you're providing liquidity, there can be something called impermanent loss. So whenever I'm going into this liquidity pool that I'm contributing to, it's showing me that I'm getting 20.09 Juno or 52.67 ideally if I were to withdraw and unbond. However, I need to wait 14 days for my liquidity provider tokens to unbond. However, if you were a person who had them on for a single day, you could maybe get out and at these current rates. However, because of impermanent loss, if the value of Juno were to skyrocket compared to Osmo, because the liquidity provider pool rebalances based on the tokens, I might get less Juno in 14 days time than I would compared to Osmo. So in my experience, I do not like providing liquidity unless I think that both tokens have a strong offering. If you provide liquidity and one of the tokens is much weaker, then the stronger one can go up in value. You can end up getting less of that back, which I just don't want to happen myself. And as well with liquidity providing, the idea behind it is that you're hoping to get enough returns to cover maybe a little bit of impermanent loss and then start benefiting. So I do think this is something that you maybe don't jump straight into. You take your time with, you do small amounts, and you just get your feet wet at first. When you're providing liquidity with Osmosis, the rewards are added here on the assets page. So you'll see things like if you're providing Juno and Osmosis and there's a dual reward system in place, the rewards will get added here each day around early evening in European time. And then, but also with Kepler, the beauty of Kepler is you can keep it a lot simpler. So in the case of Osmosis, I'm going to go to my Osmosis wallet. So you can provide staking in this case, and it's currently offering a reward rate of 146%. Now, I have stopped providing liquidity on some pairs because I sort of thought, well, why not just focus on providing my Osmosis as staking rewards and rack those benefits up instead. So it's all about, and it takes 14 days to unbond Osmosis. So, which I do like, because in some of the other with a cache, It's 21 days on bonding, but it's not so bad if you're planning things out in advance. If you think, oh, I might need to take out some cash for a certain date or to prepare because I think there's a good run coming, then unbond with plenty of time with your 21 days. On something like dVPN Sentinel here, it's 28 days. So I would say think about what you are staking. Like in the case of Sentinel, because it's 28 days, I'm not currently compounding, which is taking the reward you get for the day and adding it to the pile, because I want to create a pile that I can potentially sell if the price shoots up, because I know I'm in a situation where although the rewards are high and around 50% for Sentinel, I want to be able to take advantage of any benefits in price increase, and I think it's important to be flexible in that regard. But anyway, when you're involved with Kepler, there's a heck of a load of tokens here, and with the Kepler wallet extension, you can stake, and whenever you're staking, you can look at the commission that's available. I'll say this now, I don't recommend staking with Binance Staking, Coinbase, Kraken, any centralized exchange that has an option here to do that. I don't recommend doing it, because all that's going to happen is that any airdrops that come out on the Cosmos ecosystem, and there have been some significant ones such as Osmosis and Juno, and you don't want to miss those if those end up happening. So if you pick people who are lower down the list and have more generous, like the lower commission rate makes it appealing, it'll mean better rewards for you. But whenever you're, and typically it's not always the case, but you can often see the staking reward here shown through the plugin when you're scrolling down through each of the available chains that are available. So it can help you decide. So whenever I first got involved, I ended up looking at each project, going into coinmarketcap.com or coingecko.com and seeing what was there. And actually, if you go to coingecko.com and you go to the categories option here, you can go down and actually go to the Cosmos ecosystem here, and you can look and see the biggest projects that are currently involved. So actually, there's a bunch of things here that aren't in the Kepler wallet yet, or are working on integration with IBC. So there's a lot more exciting things to do, and it will be coming to Cosmos. I mean, we didn't have Terra and UST until October there, so there's going to be more cool things happening. One final mention is I've talked about Emeris, I've talked about Osmosis, but also Sifchain is emerging as an option. I'm currently staking Sifchain via Kepler and getting 70%. And they're currently working on a routing issue that is actually preventing me from removing this dVPN here. And it's, so it says beta net here. So Sifchain is something I'm keeping an eye on for the future. I'm staking on it. I'm dabbling in little smaller amounts of liquidity providing. And whenever you want to import to Sifchain, you can connect your wallet and you can import things like a cache and others. And also this Sifchain is actually compatible with MetaMask for Ethereum users. So if you're an Ethereum whale and you don't mind blowing $100 on a transaction, you can come and integrate you can wrap some of your Ethereum assets. Like there's a ton of Ethereum options here now, such as something like Compound or Cream, and you can import there, go to the liquidity pools, see the rewards that are available. But I'm sort of find it more appealing here for Osmosis, because if you go to the stats area on Osmosis and look at the prices, I mean, Osmosis has generally been holding a decent rate above $5. So, whenever you're getting Osmosis rewards, it's quite appealing compared to others. But yeah, so just to quickly recap, the Kepler extension is a great way into the Cosmos ecosystem. However, you will need to fund it from a centralized exchange. And I found that Atom, because it's widely available on centralized exchanges, is a good way into the system. You can withdraw it with low fees. You can get into something like Osmosis, which is my personal preference for swapping assets. You can monitor the prices easier in the stats area. You can get into a bit of liquidity providing with low fees. Because it shows you how many tokens you currently have in each pool, you can monitor and keep an eye out for any impermanent loss. You can get rewards on a daily basis. It's quick to deposit and withdraw assets there, and they'll go straight to and from your Kepler wallet. And the Kepler wallet, it can create all these different other wallets in one location across IBC. So it means that throughout the Cosmos ecosystem, you've got access to a bunch of different assets. And also with the Kepler wallet, if you're, biding your time in a project, in my case, I'm sort of thinking Akash and Sentinel dVPN are sort of maybe longer term plays. You can stake there, get the good rewards, compound if you want, or in the case of dVPN, I'm just letting the rewards accumulate to maybe sell if there's a spike in price. And just you can stake in one place from there. You can manage your assets. It's clear, it's simple, and it can even be used in conjunction with a hardware wallet. But I will make sure to link you to that guide by cat.fish, and then you can get into the Cosmos ecosystem. But yeah, this is a great way in if you want to maybe experience DeFi, but you don't want the high costs or headaches of Ethereum currently. So yes, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share the video if you like the content. And hopefully it won't be too long before we dive back into the Cosmos ecosystem. I've been Mike. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.